All right, good morning, good morning. Happy Tuesday. I hope everybody had a solid Labor Day weekend. We're back at it. Back to reality. Good morning to everyone. All right, let's see what we got here today. Well, the market tanked last night. Came all the way down to the current overnight low at 2360 and already a 100-point bounce off of that. We definitely have news. This was probably news related. What time was that? 6 a.m. That was a 140 down. Wow, that was a crazy candle. WXB, good morning to everyone. All right, so we are at a pivot point, 116. Looks like the pivot point held. They tried to flush it and about a 100-point bounce right at this pivot point. So I'm thinking, see if we get another push down at the open, potential bounce play here. I'm not touching it for now. DJ Nyson, good morning. Good morning, everyone. We had a strong push to the downside. We were trading last night around 420 area, so we did drop 100 points during the overnight and the news at around 6 a.m. Mini trader in the house. Good morning to everyone. Appreciate you all tuning in. So what am I looking for? Potential retest of this lower area here. They're going to hold the pivot point. We can probably come down at the open, either bounce it right around that 60 level or exaggerate it for a potential bounce play. If they're going to flush, I got to be careful trying to find too long a falling knife. So let's figure that out. Let's take a look at the news. What do we got for news today? All right, so we do have news at 6:45 and 7 a.m. Arizona. That is 9:45 and 10 a.m. Remember, if you're new to the stream, I live stream from Arizona. So my times are 3 hours behind. This is 9:45 a.m. and 10 a.m. news. PMI, that's a red folder event. So there should be volatility around that time. I have alarms set to stay flat. And then what do we have here? Trump's LA troop deployment violated federal law. All right, that has nothing to do with the market. This is the news that affected that 100-point drop. U.S. pulls TSMC's waiver for China shipment of chip supplies. So that was at 5:54, and if we go back to the charts, that was right here, 5:54 a.m. on the dot. In other words, 5:54 my time. It's New York time. I'm sorry, Arizona time. So that was news related, and the news did not stick. All right, so that was a knee-jerk reaction to the news, and about a 100-point flush did not stick, though. All right, so that's what we've got. I am coming into green from last night's trading, the last night's stream. Got a little bit of green. I also got to cut it pretty early today, so hopefully I can get a trade in pretty early before the news and get out. If I can't get a trade in before the news, then probably won't trade because I got to get out of here early today. Mr. Structure, good morning. Mini Trader. Good morning to everyone. Happy Tuesday. I hope everyone had a solid Labor Day weekend and now back to reality. Let's see what the market gives us. Market opens in 10 minutes. I'm going to go grab some coffee and I'll be right back. All right, so the market opens in about 10 minutes. We got some news earlier, and that's probably the, or not probably, looks like that was the knee-jerk reaction that we saw on that 554 candle Arizona time. We have PMI at 9:45 Eastern and 10 a.m. Eastern. Those are red folder events, so expect volatility. I'll be flat before both of those drops. And we had at 5:54 Arizona or 8:54 New York Eastern, we had this news drop. And if we go back to the charts, that's exactly the time of this 100.1 minute candle. Man, that's a homeless candle right there. Was that 100 points? That was 139 all the way down to 59. So 80 points there. And the news didn't hold, though. It was a knee-jerk reaction to the news. And now bouncing right back up. So let's see how the market plays today. Good morning, John Amos. Good morning. Good morning to everyone. Game plan. Let's see if we get a flush down to this area to test potential bounce area. If they're going to continue to flush this down, then I got to be careful trying to long a falling knife. Otherwise, we got a lot of room to the upside based on this move down. But let's be patient. We got two news drops today, 9:45 a.m. and 10 a.m. We have PMI going on today. So I also got to cut the stream pretty early today. I got to get out of here by 7:30 a.m. Arizona, which is 10:30. So 1 hour after the open. That's all I got to trade, and we got some news. If I can make it happen, fine. If not, then I walk out. I am coming into green, a little bit of green from last night. Last night's trading session during Asia. Let's see if we can add to that. All right, so we had this little flush, little knee-jerk reaction. News did not hold, though, at least not for now. Right back at it. So the bears have been pushing price action down. We flushed Friday's low of 397. And now we've come all the way down to 60 on that news drop and bounced it there. See if they can continue to push up. All right, the casino opens in about 6 minutes, and I will be right back. All right, we're back. Casino opens in 5 minutes. Man, that was the bounce, huh? Bounce on the news drop on a Trump tweet. And right back up. We flushed down to 60, and it's already at 120. So that was that's a 60-point drop so far on that pivot point. Pivot point is at 23,113. We tried to flush it, didn't quite work out that way. Good morning to everyone. I hope everyone had a solid Labor Day weekend, and now back to reality. Some of you getting some trades in before going to work. I got to get out of here pretty early, so hopefully I can get a trade in. We do have two news events today. Well, same news event, two different times for a drop. We have 9:45 a.m. PMI and 10 a.m. manufacturing PMI. So should be pretty volatile. Both are red folder events. I'll be flat before those drops, not gambling it. Hopefully I can get a trade in before that. I do need to leave early today, so I don't think I can stay on for more than an hour today. All right, casino opens in 3 minutes. What am I looking for? Potential pullback to test these levels, potential bounce area. If they flush these levels, then I got to be careful trying to long a falling knife. Visual Trader is already in a long from 23.84. That's a solid entry. Solid entry. I'm hoping that the market gives us another touch here and then the bounce. Now, if the market comes back down here and flushes, I'll have to be careful on, again, longing a falling knife. But I think there's a good chance we can take a quick test of these levels and then the bounce. Visual Trader, good morning. Good morning, Tom. Good morning to everyone. Good luck. 3 minutes. Casino opens in 3 minutes. In the meantime, if you're new to the stream or enjoying the stream, do me a favor, help me out with the YouTube algo. Smash that like, smash that subscribe. Casino opens in 2 minutes. All right, casino opens in 1 minute. 1 minute. Trying to get some levels down here. Thirty seconds. 30 seconds. Again, we have news at 9:45 and 10 a.m., so I'll be flat by then. And casino opens in 10 seconds. Here we go. All right, casino is now open. Here's the test of those levels. Let's see if we can get a bounce here or they flush it. Here's the flush. All right, now I've got to be careful trying to long a falling knife here. Pushing. Uh-oh. Lemonhead, good morning. All right, so they want more downside here. Let's let it do its thing. I'm gonna attempt a long here. If I get too much heat, they'll get out. All right, we're going to target, watching to see strength to the 9 EMA. All right, there they go. And I'm out. All right, out. That was a bounce to the 9 EMA. That was a 4-hour level around 2340. So I think I got my trade in. I'm going to be flat until the news. Here's the thinking behind this trade. I had a 4-hour level on the 15-minute. Let me show you my 15-minute, 5 into 15 minutes. So while the market kind of does its thing, we take a look at this magenta line. That's a 4-hour level. Came right there, hovered it. We saw the wick and entered on the bounce of that wick. Not getting aggressive, just targeted the 9 EMA. You know the 9 EMA is going to provide initial resistance. That's this area right here for support. And right there, that was my indicator. Nice little support zone there from the past. And longed it right there, 2340 for the bounce to the 9 EMA. Now, it could continue now to 9 EMA, but that was a scalp. Then we can look up the next setup. WXB, appreciate you. So again, news has to hold. We did have that news drop on some Trump tweet. It did not hold it prior to the bounce. And even before the stream, I said I could see how we're going to come back and test that for the potential bounce. So good morning. Good morning, Peter. So far, a nice little green trade. Playing that bounce right to the 9 EMA. And let's see if what they do here. I could see, you got the 200 SMA all the way down here, up here. So if the bulls really want to rally, they got a potential strong play. I got a trade in. I'm already in the green. I'll be a little patient for the next one. We do have 9:45 and 10 a.m. news. Good morning, Gary Scott. Good morning to everyone. So far, one trade in the green. Franco, perfectly executed, my guy. Appreciate you. All right, now we see the move again. That 200 SMA is all the way up here. It's a big move if they do it. But we can be patient now. 9:45 and 10 a.m. news. All right, so basically this is telling us the news did not stick. Right, this was the Trump tweet at that 954, that was a knee-jerk reaction, so this is ruled out. News always has to stick, otherwise there's always going to be a bounce. All right, 200 SMA here, so now we're watching for potential push all the way up to 180. That's the next pivot point. But like I said, I'm already nicely in the green. I do got to cut the stream today early. I'm only going to be on till maybe 7:30ish. I got things to do with life today, so I'm going to be out early, but I got my trade in. News at 9:45 and 10 a.m., so let's watch. And now we're watching for this 200 SMA up here. That will be the initial resistance. So I could see something where it comes to that pivot point at 180, 190 here, and then takes a pullback. How strong, we don't know. But bulls are basically saying no to this news drop. That was a news candle. That was Trump's tweet this morning for about 80 points, and news did not stick. PMI now is at 10 a.m., 9:45 and 10 a.m., so be careful. We do have news coming up. All right, it's going after that pivot point, 23,180. And you also have the 200 SMA here. So let's see what happens. So far, one trade, picking up 2340 area on the bounce. And right to the 9 EMA and walked out with some green. All right, bulls pushing again at 23, 180, 190 is your next resistance zone right there, or next level. You have pivot point, a 4-hour level, plus 200 SMA on the smaller time frames right there. It's your next area. It was a quick trade today. Literally 1 minute into the open. Quick little scalp. All right, now what do we watch for here on this pullback using the 9 and the 20 AM SMA as support? And they keep pushing this up or they flush it. But we have 9:45 and 10 a.m. news, so I'm going to be flat before I take another trade. Alexa, stop. All right, that's my alarm for 9:45 news. News in 5 minutes. Mr. Structure, I appreciate you, man. If for short, you just triggered my Alexa. Alexa, announce. We love JC. I'm triggering everyone's Alexa right now. Mr. Structure, thank you. Appreciate you. All right, so 9:45 news in 4 minutes. We're at this pivot point. It's a 4-hour level, and you got the 200 SMA right there at 190. Let's see if they push right through that like it's butter, or are they going to take a little pullback here? These are some nice candles. Volatility is back, boys. Got 20, 30.1 minute candles. That's what I like to see. So it looks like summer's over, and now we're finally back to continuation and 20, 30.1 minute candles. Love it. All right, so came up to that pivot point. We're at the 200 SMA on the smaller time frame. Let's see if there's the pullback that we're talking about here. And is this the fake out for PMI news? And then PMI news just flushes this right back down. News in 3 minutes. All right, so there's the pullback we were talking about at this pivot point and the 200 SMA, providing that resistance. What do we watch for here? Using the 9 and the 20 to continue support to the move up, or do they flush it? I'll be hands off either way. And guys, remember, today is the last day for the Apex 90% sale. Last day. At this point, you're probably only looking at the 90% sale. Don't even worry about the PA promo, lifetime PA fees. You'd have to pass it today to get those. But as far as the 90% is concerned, today's the last day. All right, guys, news in 2 minutes. Like I said, today I'm making it a quick morning. I got to get out of here, head out to Tempe, Arizona, and I'll come back tonight for the Asia session. I'll be right back, guys. All right, so news in 1 minute. Let's see what that does to the market. News in 15 seconds. Red folder event. I would be flat. News in 5 seconds. Red folder event. Here we go. All right, they're starting to make their move to the downside. And we have news again at 10 a.m. in 15 minutes, guys. All right, little indecision here at this pivot point. It's a 4-hour level, and you got the 200 SMA there. If they're going to push up, they're going to push it with force. You got an FVG on the 15-minute. Middle of that FVG is right around 200, so they can make a... Ah! Am I still muted? No, it doesn't show that I'm muted. Is it muted or just bad audio? All right, anyways, going back to what I was saying, 15-minute FVG, the middle of that FVG is 200. Ah, gotcha. All right. There's that touch on the 200 SMA that we talked about. Next stop is the middle of that FVG at 200. Our bull's just going to rally this. 15-minute opening range breakout also right now in effect. And came to that 200 SMA and initial pullback right there. Right to it. This is the pivot point, but you do have a fair value gap, the middle of that FVG on the 15-minute, right around 200. So maybe another little push to this area. And notice how it came to the 200, touched it, and immediately pulled back. At least initial resistance there, but as long as the 9 EMA holds, they continue this ascending channel, right? They're moving in an ascending channel to the upside. Now, if they flush the 9, the next stop would be that 20 SMA. If they flush the 20, then they're going down. So now they've gotten themselves out of that channel, ascending channel. Let's see if they can hop right back in. There you go. 9 EMA is providing the bounce so far. It's provided the bounce throughout this move up. Man, these are all 20, 30-point candles. This is good. Volatility is back. Summer's over. Look at that candle. That's a 50-point 1-minute candle. All right. Volatility is back. Summer is officially over. Look at that candle. That's a 50-point 1-minute candle right to that FVG. All right, so we're in the middle of the fair value gap on a 15-minute. That's a 200 right there. Let's see what happens. We have the 200 SMA. You got moving averages. Are they going to continue to push up? Lemonhead, that was a beautiful scalp, man. Look at that candle. Continuation. Yes. Volatility is back. That's what you want to see on a 1-minute candle, in and out. All right, so Wall Street has left the Hamptons. Wall Street is back in New York City. They've closed up their summer homes in the Hamptons and back to trading. So summer's over. Ooh, look at the continuation on that. All right, news drop in 10 minutes. PMI related as well. This is what we like. These are the easy trades. This is what we want to see again. Those 1 minute, 20, 30 points where you don't even have to stay in longer than a 1 minute candle. Here we go. All right, they keep pushing. I'll be flat though. News in 10 minutes. So between 3-minute candles, 147 up to 218. Yes, that. WXB caught that long scalp as well. Hey, man, I mean, this is what we want to see, right? Look at that. Keeps going. VWAP all the way up at 300, is it? 314? No, yeah, 297. So potential another 70 points to the upside on this move up. I'm going to wait for 10 a.m. news. I'm already nicely in the green, so I don't need to push it. But let's see what 10 a.m. news gives us. Either way, I got to get out of here. I can only make it about an hour today. I got to get on the road, heading over to Tempe, Arizona. But fortunately, got my trade in and done. But this is good. This is good volatility. We're back. Peter Chan, you got VWAP at 325. Could be my trading view. I'll be honest with you. All right, so now we're at the 5-minute 20 SMA and came into a little bit of resistance there. We take a look. I'm sorry, the 15-minute SMA. So that's a higher time frame moving average. And trying to push right through it right now. They keep pushing. Wow. All right, news in 7 minutes. Hopefully you grab that long anywhere, right? That was a long, you can capture it anywhere. And the drawdown wouldn't have been too bad if you caught it the wrong spot. All right, now let's see what happens here. They're going to take a little pullback. And news drops in 7 minutes. All right, struggling here between 220 and 240. They're pushing it. That's a nice continuation candle. How much was that? It's 26 to 40. Yeah, it's a 20-point candle right there. Alexa, stop. All right, that's my alarm for 10 a.m. news. All right, bulls making it easy today. Scalp those longs. So far, about a 200-point move from the open. All right, well, the good thing is clearly summer is over. Wall Street is back from the Hamptons, and looks like we got some good trading from here on. Peter Chan, 5-minute EMA crossed to the upside. Let's take a look at the 5-minute. Let's switch over to Heikinashi candles. Ooh, look at those Heikinashi candles. Green, green across the board. Let's take a look at the Renko bars. How's that look? Look at those Renko bars are just... wow. Green, green, green across the board. All right, so in terms of where this move can potentially go to, right, we're looking for the next area of support and resistance. This can be a move all the way up to that 350 area before we see any resistance. So you got potential another 100 points on this. Wow. Well, like I said, I got to get out of here pretty soon, but I think I got my trade in. But the good thing is volatility's back. There should be some good trading from here on. All right, so we are in a ascending channel. All right, if you take a look at the top of that ascending channel, you still got another potential leg up the top of that channel. So we're hovering right at the bottom. News in 2 minutes. Let's see if the news is just going to break out of this channel for its potential move to the downside or continue this move up that we're seeing. Jesse, good morning. Good morning. Jesse James in the house. Good morning. All right, news drop in 1 minute. Like I said, I got to get out of here early today, so I'm going to cut it pretty soon. Heading out to Tempe, Arizona, and I'll be back tonight. For those of you that trade Asia, I'll be back on 9:15 p.m. Eastern tonight. And for those that trade New York, I'll be back tomorrow, 9:15 a.m. Let's see what the news drop happens. And like I said, I came in with some green from last night, but I did take one trade for about 30, 35 points there and called it. Called it. That was it. All right, news in 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1, Zippo. There goes the news. See if it tops to the top of this channel right here. Let's see what happens there. So staying in the channel. And there they go, topping it. VWAP 289. It's topped another FVG 15 minute. Frank got a quick scalp on the open for 700 bucks. Nicely done, Frank. With this volatility, that's what we want. We want to be able to get in and out on these 1 minute candles. And when you got 20, 30 points on each candle with continuation, it's golden. Today was a solid day for scalps. So hopefully that's the sign that Wall Street is back from the Hamptons and we're back to normal trading. Summer's over. That was a nice, 200 points move on the open today. All right, starting to break out of this channel. 9 EMA is also starting to curl. 9 EMA has been providing support on this move up. So is this finally the pullback after this push up? Frank, 2 a.m. here in New Zealand, bedtime. All right, Frank. Well, I appreciate you tuning in. Nice trade. I notice you also got a scalp on the open, so nicely done. Yeah, man. Lock in that profit, go back to bed. Today was one of those days anywhere you longed it. You got a nice 30, 40 point scalp or longer if you held. But that's it. Just take a little. You don't need the entire move. Just take a little bit of the move. I'm done. I'm nicely in the green. No need to push it. All right, I'll hang out for another 10 minutes. And like I said, I got to get out of here today. Early. Sorry, but this is what it is. All right, Apex. Today's the last day for Apex 90% off. I wouldn't worry about the PA lifetime promo at this point because you would have to pass it by tonight to get the promo fee, but 90% is what I buy these accounts for. So if you haven't loaded up on Apex, 90% off. You can use code JCDT. Get a little discount. You help support the channel. And I think that is it. Good morning to everyone. Jesse, James, good to see you. I hope you got some nice green as well. Peter Chan. All right, they're starting to break out of that ascending channel. Let's see if it's a true breakout out of that or just consolidation for further upside. And market slowing down a little bit after the news drops. All right, starting to break down. We're at the 20 SMA on the smaller time frames. Will it hold or is it going to flush for another potential touch of the 200? The 200 SMA is also now aligned with the pivot point. So potential touch of that pivot point for either a bounce or flushing that pivot point. And at that point, you'd have a look above and fail that pivot point. Right back down. Let's see. All right. Well, 20 SMA holding for now. And they're bouncing the 20 SMA. Geo Stock Trade, good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the stream. Good morning to everyone. If you're new to the stream, thank you for tuning in. I live stream from Arizona, 3 hours behind New York. So my times are 3 hours behind. If you're new and enjoying the content, do me a favor, smash that like, smash that subscribe. Today, Wall Street confirming that summer is over. We had some good continuation today. Nice price action on the open. So hopefully that's the beginning of the summer's over and now we can get back to normal trading. Quick 1 minute, 2 minute scalps versus having to wait through chop. But today was solid price action during the open. Mini trader, good luck. I'm done. I've came in with some green from the overnight, added a nice little 30, 35 point scalp today and calling it. All right, guys, I appreciate you all tuning in. I got to get out. I got to head out to Tempe, but I'll be back tonight, 9:15 p.m. Eastern for the Asia session and back tomorrow morning, 9:15 a.m. Eastern. I appreciate everyone tuning in. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you. If you haven't done so, help me out with the YouTube algo. Smash that like, smash that subscribe. Lemonhead, Laters, Peter Chan, Laters, Drewski, Geostock, Frank, Jesse James, King Caesar, Structure. I love the name Structure. Structure reminds me of a YouTube channel that I used to watch a lot when trading options. The guy would pronounce, "We got to wait for a break of market structure." Jesse James. Talk to you later, guys. Have a good one. Laters.